Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Leah Vachani, and without further ado, let me introduce my special guest today. Keri Brooks is a highly sought-after functional medicine practitioner and speaker who has been featured as a digestive health and women's wellness specialist on top-rated health and wellness podcasts worldwide. She holds certifications in functional medicine, nutrition, holistic health, personal training, yoga, and mindfulness coaching. Keri employs a groundbreaking functional medicine approach that integrates a unique laboratory, customized nutritional therapies, comprehensive whole food education, and holistic lifestyle coaching. Through her work, she has assisted thousands in recovering from FLC syndrome, which we'll talk about, empowering women to balance bodies, vibrant health, and empowered living. Notably, Keri served as the lead nutritionist in a functional medicine study conducted with the Mayo Clinic and Dr. Dan Kalish, contributing to a groundbreaking research in the field. And beyond her professional roles, Keri is an entrepreneur and a devoted single mother to two wonderful teenage daughters. She's also a dedicated foodie, an outdoor enthusiast, committed to finding ways to simplify healthy living for both you and your family. Wow, Keri, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy. I love that we are targeting visiting moms because for the last 15 years, that really has been who I've been working with, and also just women in general. So I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to share your depth of knowledge, especially on what we kind of touched on in your bio, but what I hear so many moms like myself just struggling with, and I like that you named it the feel like crap syndrome or FLC.
Yep, it encompasses a lot.
More about this.
Yeah, so today is all about feel like crap syndrome. And, how I really came into this work was I started in the fitness and nutrition field 20 plus years ago as I'm dating myself. And what I found was I was primarily working with women, and it was women who were doing everything right, particularly a ton of moms, right? They were eating well, they were exercising, they were sleeping, and the issue was they were still struggling with so many different symptoms. They had barely enough energy to get through their day. They were feeling overwhelmed and irritated by their children and their loved ones. They were finding they had brain fog and lack of motivation, maybe chronic digestive complaints. And as time goes on, maybe even starting to struggle with some anxiety and depression. And they had gone to their doctors, and all of their test results said they were just fine, right? So they were brushed off as you're just a busy mom, or you are just, you're working too hard. Why don't you eat healthier and lose weight? And so they left feeling really disempowered, feeling unseen, unheard. And then many of them came to me thinking, is it just because I'm lazy? Am I not working hard enough? Maybe I have to cut my calories even more or work harder, which just exacerbated their symptoms. And so at the same time, I became a new mom and started seeing my own journey and my mom who struggled with chronic health issues for 30 plus years and thought there had to be a different way. And at this time, there was like divine intervention. I got introduced to Dr. Dan Kalish, who runs Kalish Research, a functional medicine program, and then got to study under him and then become his teaching assistant. And it was teaching this wildly powerful approach to start looking at what the body is trying to tell us, right? In terms of these are just signs and symptoms. They're like little red flags that we haven't been taught how to interpret, and we haven't been taught what we can do to actually improve these symptoms or improve our well-being.
Yeah, well, and most doctors don't even have time, even if they know how to teach us at the time. So
right.
We have other practitioners we can go to and learn. So speaking,
absolutely,
I would love to hear, what do you consider, let's call it the 5 most essential health and vitality strategies for women's health?
Yeah. So, over the last 15 years, I've got to try out a lot of different strategies. One, we got to actually run it with the Mayo Clinic, which was amazing, but then actually put this into clinical practice. And so these are the 5 kind of foundational pillars that I work with all my one-on-one clients, but also in some of my group programs. And we'll go into the value of each one of these. But number one is supporting detox pathways, which obviously you're getting to hear all the different ways and different practitioners' approaches to supporting detox. But I'm specifically targeting liver detox pathways. And we'll talk about why this is the most powerful step. This is the step that I start with all of my one-on-one clients, as well as have created an online group program that I've led thousands through. Because what we've seen within the first 2 weeks of focusing on liver detox, that we see this powerful transformation with a decrease in symptoms up to 50%. They fill out a medical health questionnaire, and we're seeing everything from joint pain to brain fog to fatigue to insomnia to inflammation literally decrease or be eliminated within 2 weeks. So yeah, just 2 weeks. That's why, like, if I miss this step, I'm always going, what? I missed this step, and we have to go back and start over again. The second is incorporating some nervous system calming techniques into your day, weaving them into your day. It's your decompression button. And we'll talk about the ones that I found the easiest to weave into the day, especially for busy moms. Sleep, it's really your biggest rejuvenation tool that we have. So are you getting enough of it? And how do we increase your deep sleep and REM? Then maximizing, how do we really maximize your digestion, right? Hippocrates said, so long ago that digestion is the root of all disease, right? And where health starts. So how do we maximize it to ensure that it is supporting you rather than detracting from your health? And then the last one is precision medicine testing. And this is really about getting the right labs, being able to advocate with your MD, and if not, ways to be able to get access to the right tests that are actually going to measure, are you on the right path? Are you getting closer to health? Are you actually getting closer to disease? So you can start changing up and actual measuring, is what you're doing working? And if not, let's get some more support.
I love that. I can't wait to hear about that one too. Well, let's start with the first one. So what does the term detox actually mean? And are there some misconceptions people have regarding a liver detox? Let's dive into that one.
Yeah, this is a really, really good one, because I'll see even, health and wellness practitioners talk about, and they'll say, we have a liver for a reason, and it knows how to do its job, right? There is no reason to detox, right? These are fads. And I just want to take a deep breath and go, okay, this person needs just a re-education about what detox really, really is. And I think the most pervasive example of how important liver detox is non-fatty alcoholic liver disease is found in 25% of the US population.
1 in 4.
1 in 4. 1 in 4. So of course, this is according to the American Liver Foundation. And what this means is they're actually detecting that your ALT and AST liver markers, which you get on a standard blood test, are elevated. And by the time that happens, it means the liver is this extraordinary organ that has the opportunity and knows how to actually rejuvenate. But when you actually have these elevated marker, it means that your liver is being injured at a faster rate than it can actually rebuild and recover. 1 in 4, you guys. So we know that our bodies, unfortunately, have not evolved at the rate that our toxins have, right? And we walk outside and are inundated by up to 10,000 different toxins in the environment, right? As well as we have some toxins that our own bodies give off called endotoxins from our digestive tract. And so this is where, if the liver is given the right compounds, it can actually rejuvenate and metabolize these toxins with ease. And so there are essentially 19 plus different compounds that the liver needs to be able to detox toxins. So it doesn't mean that you have to, you have to be terrified of what's out there. But what it does mean is that there are ways, a proper detox is going to be looking at removing and minimizing toxins in your food and in your environment. But the second portion of this is how do we support and invigorate these pathways, and that we have actionable steps and ways to do this. And it's making sure you're not missing any of these compounds. So B vitamins, folate, glutathione, which is your like master antioxidant, 10,000 times more powerful than vitamin C. And you can get that through something called milk thistle, is a really quick, easy way. And you have teas or tinctures or supplements to help with that. Sulfur compounds that are primarily found in like garlic, beans and legumes and onions, and then cruciferous veggies, as well as protein. So if you are missing any of those compounds, what happens is very quickly, you will start seeing a cascade of symptoms that seem completely unrelated. And so, yeah.
How do I know if I need this?
Yes. Such good questions. So there are some really telling signs. One that I find, particularly with women, that's pretty prevalent is alcohol intolerance. You used to be able to drink wine, and suddenly wine makes you feel like garbage, right? Or you have one cocktail and in the morning.
Can't drink wine anymore? Is this a sign?
Yes, this is a sign that now the good news is, and this is what I don't usually advertise, but once you work on supporting your liver, even for 30 days, you can drink again with ease.
It's nice to know the benefits.
Yeah, exactly. And just knowing, because I mean, sadly, alcohol is a toxin. There's no good or bad alcohol. And so, but the more efficient your liver is, the more supported it is, the more it is going to be able to really work on metabolizing and clearing these out, and the better you're going to feel. So alcohol intolerance is one. Chemical sensitivities, if you suddenly are getting sensitive to smells and different chemicals, that's another one. Fatigue, weight gain, weight loss resistance, I would say even bigger, because your body will hold on tenaciously to fat because that's where it sequesters toxins. So if you've got a lot of toxins circulating,
so no
it's
matter
not going to let
your body is, you're thinking as a busy mom, I want to lose some weight, but your body's like, no, I'm going to shove these toxins into this fat because it's protected. It's like a buffer there, right?
Yes, exactly. And then it's going to hold on to it tenaciously because there's no place for these toxins to go. However, right, the good news is that once you start, so again, you get supporting it with some of these compounds and then some daily detox rituals, you have the opportunity to really reset. Okay. And so what was that?
There is hope for us. There are ways to walk through this and give our body what it needs. So I think you mentioned there were 2 simple detox rituals that we can do daily. Did we jump?
No, yeah, let's jump right into those. So one of the ones, and it's so simple, is starting your morning with warm water with half a lemon or lime squeezed in it, as well as a pinch of sea salt. I like Redmond sea salt because it has some of the highest levels of mineral content. And what that is found to do is it actually helps to start your digestive fire. It helps the release of bile, and bile helps sequester different toxins in the body, and also helps with getting your digestion moving. So super simple way before anything in the morning. It also helps improve your acid levels in your stomach so you break down and digest food more efficiently. So really easy to do.
Quick. Most people think they get scared of stomach acid, but we want it to be acidic, right?
Yes. So we want our pH to be not too high and not too low. And although lemon seems and lime seems to be acidic, it actually helps alkalize and balance the pH in the stomach. So, and stomach acid is essential as we get into digestion. We'll talk about that. So incredibly important. And then the second one is sweating or sauna. Sweating or sauna is one way, right? Our biggest detox organ outside of our lungs is our skin. And so just being able to get into sauna would be optimal, dry sauna versus steam. People do prefer steam, but sauna tends to be better for helping to remove some of these toxins gently. And then obviously sweating as well. One of the signs and symptoms that your detox pathways are a little bit inhibited is if you don't sweat like you used to. So that's something as you start seeing, oh, I can sweat again, it's showing that you're recovering and improving.
Are you saying if I'm sweating more, that's a good sign?
Yes, it depends on where you're sweating. If you're having warm flashes or hot flashes, we need to get to the bottom of that. Is it hormonal? Is it gut driven? Is it histamine driven?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
More sweating during exercise.
Gotcha. So, is there anything you wanted to finish up with the liver detox, or should we move to the second strategy?
Yeah, I did want to just share a couple more symptoms, and just really why we see this is such an important piece of overall health and vitality is because the liver in itself doesn't just work on reducing toxins. 80% of your thyroid hormone is actually converted in your liver. So if you're struggling with hypothyroid, fatigue, weight gain, irritability, you're losing the outer edge of your eyebrows, and you've been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, may just be your liver. So we work on improving your liver health, and suddenly all of those symptoms improve.
Wow.
Same thing with elevated cholesterol. 75% of the cholesterol in the body comes from our liver production. It's not from diet. So you improve the liver health, and we'll start to see LDL decrease as well as overall cholesterol as well.
I mean, I'm sure it couldn't hurt to support our liver first and then see if maybe some people still need medication, but why not support the liver first, right? And see where it goes.
Exactly. Or support the liver wow, right? I mean, if you do, so you can start seeing really dramatic changes on the cholesterol side of things. We also see metabolism, blood sugar balance also is very much linked to the liver as well. And so all of these benefits, which non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is actually very much linked to obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, as well as elevated cholesterol. So fix the liver, you fix this whole cascade of symptoms.
Wow. The liver is kind of my new hero in the body.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so should we move on to the next strategy then?
Yeah.
I want to know about how can we moms improve our energy and well-being? And you said something about the nervous system. So can you share what that entails and what are some powerful ways to create a calmer nervous system? I would love to know. I feel
Yes. Absolutely. So most of us are spending the majority of our time in fight or flight, right? This is supposed to be a protective mechanism that's used in times of danger. And our bodies are on constantly instead of being in this parasympathetic rest or digest nervous system. And it's all controlled by the autonomic nervous system. We used to believe that the autonomic nervous system was automatic. What we now know is that there are tools and strategies that we can do on a daily basis that can actually turn on our parasympathetic nervous system and get us out of fight or flight. This is what I said, this decompression button. We also have learned that we have a way to actually measure this, and it's called heart rate variability, HRV. And being able to measure this, HRV has to do with really the heart rate difference in your heart rate between beats. And it's linked to resilience and your body's ability to recover from stress and your body's ability to recover from disease. The more we spend time in our parasympathetic nervous system, the higher our HRV and our resilience is. And so some of the most powerful ways to actually start to shift this, it can be measured by a lot of wearable devices right now. My favorite is the Oura Ring, which can also track, yes, you've got it, right? It's amazing.
So much,
right? So much information. It tracks your oxygen and your deep sleep and your REM and your HRV. Things like Whoop, as well as some other wearable devices as well. But what you find, and the most powerful practices I have found, one is heart-brain coherence. It's a super simple, have you ever used that before?
I haven't.
Amazing. So this is a really simple strategy. If you look up Heart Math Institute, there's 3,300 studies on the power of heart-brain coherence. And what they've discovered is that the heart is actually what drives the rest of the body. It's not the brain. And it
Mm.
makes so much sense because when you have an emotional response, it's not here, right? Where is it? It's your belly and your heart,
Mm.
right? So heart math, heart brain coherence has to do with your ability to remember a powerful memory or place. I call it your joy spot or your happy place. And you close your eyes, connect with your heart, and connect back to that memory. Mine is like a high mountain. It's after an incredible hike in Tahoe at a high mountain lake. And I am just surrounded by beauty and in total awe and gratitude of what my body was capable of and the beauty that surrounds you. So
Mm.
connecting in, like, where would yours be?
I have so many places, but probably a particular beach, a memory that I have on a beach. Yeah,
Yes, on a beach, very, really common.
so
And so
calm.
you connect into how you feel, right? Does it make you feel like you're at home? Does make you feel gratitude or at peace? The more you can connect to that feeling, just spend 2 to 5 minutes there, the more the entire body starts to follow suit. The brain, your cells, and your organs start to come into coherence, which is where you can heal, rejuvenate, and rebuild.
I love this technique too because as a mom, I can train myself, but also it seems like such a great tool for kids to use and something that they could actually do easily.
Yes, it's so accessible. So I encourage all of you to try it on your own. You can do it at any place, anytime during the day. And it's just connecting to the feeling. That's where the power of heart brain coherence is. And so bringing that up is really simple.
I love that. And then I won't feel like a tiger is chasing me all day. It's this.
Yes, exactly. And the second one has to do with breath work and meditation. And there's many different types of breath work that you can access. One of the most simple techniques is literally taking a 5 second inhale in through the nose and then a 5 second exhale out through the nose. And you do that, there's been studies to show it lowers blood sugar. It helps vasodilate the arteries and veins, so you're getting more oxygen circulating, and it triggers your parasympathetic nervous system. So really simple to be able to do that. Try even doing like when you're doing work on the computer, most of us are holding our breath.
Yes. In fact, I noticed that I don't know if anyone has an Apple Watch, but there's a like a breathing one. And
Yeah.
when you look at it, this circle expands and it shows you kind of it's a visual cue to inhale and belly breathe. And I noticed that when I'm working at the computer and I look down at my watch and it tells me to breathe, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't been breathing. Like I haven't been doing deep breathing. So
Yeah, so that's a really simple technique to do and just check in, maybe even just put a reminder. I have a lot of my clients put reminders on their phone or their Apple Watch.
that's a great, or just like stand up every 20 minutes and like do a
Yep.
exercise of relaxation. I love that.
Yeah. And then my favorite type of breathing is actually called superventilation, very similar to the Wim Hof method. And this is a really powerful technique for people who have the Wall Street ticker tape as their thoughts,
Yeah.
right? Incessant thoughts with no space in between. Most of us moms, because we're multitasking and running around, having to manage everyone else's schedules. But the power with this is the mind gets to get into a rhythmic pattern by following your breath and your rhythm. It releases adrenaline. And then at the end, you get into bliss. 20 minutes of this. And I lead a class just online on Mondays at 6:30 a.m. So before you get up with the kids, yes, and be able to do a little heart brain coherence and this breath. I'll have that maybe as a link as well. So people can, because the first class is free to experience it. Because with my mental health clients, anxiety, depression, OCD, incessant thoughts, they were able to get to a place of total presence, like
Wow.
of pausing the mind.
Just with breath.
Yes, just with breath.
It's really incredible what our bodies are capable of. We just need the proper guidance sometimes.
Absolutely.
Well, I would love to like do some more deep breathing, but I'm curious. I want to move on because
Yeah.
I hear about sleep. Now, we've all heard sleep is so important, it's so essential, but I didn't know it was so essential for waistline, energy, brain, and all the other things. Can you share
Yes.
tips or techniques for improving our sleep so that we can maybe make some daily changes and feel better?
Yeah. So with sleep, again, as I alluded to earlier, it is about the time that we actually rebuild, rejuvenate, and balance. When we sleep, there's actually some studies showing that the brain is actually rinsed of toxins at sleep, particularly in deep sleep. And so there's a link between Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and individuals that are not getting that deep, restful sleep and having higher levels of something called beta amyloid plaque.
Mm.
So getting sleep for the brain, we also know it impacts our hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which are like our gremlin hormones and are less likely to overeat hormones. So making sure you're getting to bed on time, making sure you're getting adequate amounts of sleep, minimum 7 hours, and making sure you're getting deep sleep and REM are essential. And what research has finally discovered is one of the biggest inhibitors of sleep, there are two or three, is mouth breathing, is lower levels of oxygen when you are sleeping. And I'll always have people like, well, how do I know if I'm a mouth breather? I'm asleep.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. And it's if you're waking up with a dry mouth and needing to drink water during the night, or you really have a dry mouth, that's one of the first signs. If you snore, more than likely you're also going to be a mouth breather, sleep apnea, mouth breather. So working on nostril breathing with some breath work techniques are really powerful. You can also do something that sounds terrifying, but it's called mouth taping. And there's an actual little piece of mouth tape. And the level of deep sleep can increase like 20 to 30% when people are tracking it on an Oura ring.
I mean, initially I was a little bit terrified, but my little one wears headgear. It couldn't be worse than that. So,
Right. And you can practice with like a nap
yeah.
rather than sleep, right?
Plus your Aura, if you have an Aura ring, right, that'll tell you if you're reaching those ideal deep sleep and REM patterns.
Yes, that's one of my favorite tracking tools to be able to see the strategies that you're using, whether you're incorporating in some minerals before bed or an Epsom salt or doing meditation or breath work. How is it impacting your sleep? Is it working? And so tracking, that's kind of my next sleep hack is make sure you've got something to start tracking your sleep. It is a absolute game changer.
Yeah, it's totally worth the investment to get that feedback too. I agree.
Yes.
Okay, so we got to get more sleep. We got to get better sleep. And then what about digestion? I mean, that's like one of your specialties, right? How have you helped people the most with chronic digestive complaints? Do you have any tips?
Yeah. Yeah. So digestion, as I mentioned, it is the gateway to health or disease in the body. Think of your favorite plant, right? Let's say you're fertilizing it, you're giving it water and perfect amount of light, but its roots are damaged. If its roots are damaged, how well is it going to thrive? It's not going to, right? And so the body is the same way. This is where the body is going to digest all the amazing healthy food that we're incorporating in. Right? I say making sure that you're jerfing, which means just eating real food, or eliminating freaking foods.
One more time. I want to catch that again.
Jerf. So jerfing, it was coined by a colleague of mine, Sean Cruxton, and it's just eat real food.
Got it.
So important, right? We're getting rid of packaged foods and we're eating whole real foods, which is one of the first steps for supporting your digestion, is focusing on getting the inflammatory foods out and incorporating in really whole nourishing foods. The second one is making sure that we are really focusing on what we can do to improve our digestion, because that's where all of our nutrients are absorbed. And it's keeping viruses, bacteria, and toxins out of general circulation. So making sure that warm water in the morning is helping, one, to make your stomach acid levels adequate. Making sure you're getting enough minerals throughout your day is really incorporate, and making sure that you're not in fight or flight. So taking a few breaths, giving gratitude for your meal, gets you into a place of receptivity before you start to eat. Really important. It slows down the pacing of the day. And then lastly is test your digestion. One of the most powerful ways to look at how well is my body doing is doing a stool test. Stool tests aren't that fun. However, the information that you get from them is absolutely astonishing. And you'd have to do this through an integrative practitioner, functional health medicine practitioner, and it can look at the overall health of your digestion. None of these tests are run through gastroenterologists unless they're integrative. And it shows us your probiotic levels. It shows us, do you have bacteria in places you shouldn't have bacteria? It's going to look at your immune response and your enzyme levels, your acid levels in your stomach, as well as some inflammatory markers. So we can say, are we on the right path to digestive health?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to get that feedback. And it's so interesting to me that, we'll take our dog in for a stool test without even thinking about it. But then when someone says you should get a stool test to a human, they're like, huh?
Right, exactly. And, it's the same thing like with our cars. We have car insurance, right? We have health insurance, but we have to pay out of pocket all the time for maintenance, right? But we don't want to do that in our own health for some reason. And so this is some of the most powerful ways you can actually invest in your health is stop guessing and test.
Yeah, I mean, guessing sometimes takes people's years or decades to get to the bottom of something. When you have the test to speed it up, it seems like a no-brainer. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Keri.
yeah. So that's kind of one of, the last steps of this whole process is this precision medicine testing. And it's so incredibly important because we're wanting most of the testing when you go to your MD is going to be looking and ruling out disease. By the time most of those markers are elevated, it's already been decades of imbalances. And that's where people can show up and suddenly have cancer throughout their entire bodies, right? Or already have cardiovascular disease or already have diabetes. What functional medicine is looking at what can we do from the prevention standpoint to start rebuilding your health before we get to disease.
Yeah, it's not, our doctors are usually dealing with sick care, not well care.
Yes.
Yeah. So what can I do if I go to my physician and, I get pushback, like, what are my options? What can I do?
Yeah. So, it's not really our doctor's fault. Their hands are really tied. And there's a couple of reasons why. One is insurance is going to dictate the labs that are considered essential. And if they order too many non-essential labs, they can actually be dropped by the provider. Now, I've also heard people say, well, I said, I don't care. I don't, order the labs anyway. I'm not going to go through insurance. And there's still pushback. And that is because some of the labs that I would ask for prevention are not going to change their treatment plan. And if they're not going to, it's not going to change their treatment plan, they deem them, the physician themselves, as non-essential. So when someone will ask for a full thyroid panel, because we want to say there's 26 different possible dysfunctional patterns in the thyroid, and you're only getting 2 markers, they'll get pushback because it's not going to change their treatment plan. So with these different tests, some of them, asking for a full thyroid panel if you're struggling with fatigue is incredibly important. You can ask for B12, and there's actually a specific marker called methylmalonic acid, way more specific for B12 if you're struggling with fatigue. For cholesterol, there's so many additional markers that you can ask for before going on a statin to find out your actual risk factors. So if you can't get these done, you can go through there. I have a precision medicine membership that allows you to get access to over 100 different markers and have a consult with me twice a year to be able to track these markers, explain your results, and be able to get access to them at a fraction of the price so that you can really have a better understanding of the full landscape of what you're dealing with.
I think that's really helpful to know because I think I speak for many of us busy moms who have gone to a physician and had either pushback or don't know what to ask for. And when you get the traditional, CBC or the blood panel, you're not getting information back that's helping you feel better. And walking away from that feeling like, what do I do? That's disheartening. And so now you're giving us a lot of tools and strategies and ways to kind of, you're almost also empowering us to keep looking, to keep searching. And it sounds like there's a whole plethora, yourself included, of wellness practitioners that can actually help us if we are leaving the doctor feeling that way and want more answers and want to stop feeling like crap.
Exactly. Absolutely. So that's really what this is about empowerment, of knowing that there are answers, knowing that every individual has a different experience. And because they say, nothing, you can't get rid of this, is only that person's experience, versus knowing that there's always rooms to heal. There's always room to rebuild. It's just learning how to identify what your body's trying to tell you and giving it the compounds it needs to come back into balance and homeostasis.
Yeah. So ladies, you've heard it here. Like, there are a lot of different strategies and approaches to wellness, a lot of different signs your body is showing you. And I think this is really empowering us to be wellness advocates for ourselves. So if you're not satisfied with how you're feeling, if you're not jumping out of bed in the morning and feeling like $1,000,000, there are a lot of tools that we are giving you to kind of to investigate your health and just be an advocate for yourself. Don't settle for less, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Keri, you have generously offered a free gift for everyone that's watching today. So can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so I'm providing you with my FLC Feel Like Crap Recovery Guide. And I obviously shared a lot of information, so it helps reiterate a lot of what I've told you today, and then go even deeper into digestive strategies, sleep strategies, even different nutrients you can use to help support your liver. And I'm just thrilled to see that, and hope that each and every one of you know that you can recover from FLC syndrome. There's reasons you're feeling this way, and there's actionable steps and a treasure chest of tools to help get you on your way.
I love it. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you.